The night fell like a soft velvet curtain over the quiet countryside. The only sounds were the gentle mooing of cows and the whisper of wind through the hayfields. In the moonlight, the old barn glowed, its wooden beams saturated with the scent of earth, grass, and secrets waiting to be told. Inside, Emma was finishing her evening chores, humming a soft tune as she brushed down the last of the cows. The barn was her sanctuary, a place of peaceful solitude. Or so she thought. A sudden creak from the heavy barn door made her heart jump. She spun around, her breath catching in her throat. It was Clara, the farmer's daughter. She stood silhouetted in the doorway, holding a lantern that cast a warm, flickering glow on her face. Her hair, usually tied back in a neat braid, was loose and wild, and her eyes held an expression Emma couldn't quite decipher. Clara wasn't supposed to be here this late, but lately, she had been breaking a lot of rules, especially when Emma was around. "You'll get in trouble if your father finds you here," Emma whispered, but a shy smile betrayed her words. She couldn't help it. Clara's presence felt like a spark in the quiet darkness. Clara stepped inside, setting the lantern down on a hay bale. The soft light danced across her features, making her look both ethereal and incredibly real. "Maybe," she replied, her voice steady despite the late hour. "But I don't care anymore." They stood close now, the space between them charged with an unspoken energy. For weeks, it had been like this, a silent dance of lingering glances, accidental touches, and shared smiles that meant more than they should. Their fingers would brush when passing a water bucket. Their shoulders would touch while tending to a newborn calf. It was a beautiful, agonizing tension that neither of them dared to name. Clara took another small step forward, closing the remaining distance. "I can't stop thinking about you," she confessed. Her voice trembled slightly, a crack in her confident facade, but her gaze never left Emma's. Emma froze, every part of her wanting to bridge that final gap, to feel Clara's touch. But fear held her rooted to the spot. "Clara, if anyone finds out," she started, her voice barely a whisper. "Let them," Clara interrupted, her tone suddenly fierce, though her shaking hands gave away her own fear. "I'm tired of pretending. I'm tired of hiding this feeling." Silence descended upon the barn again, thick and heavy, broken only by their soft breathing and the gentle shifting of the cows in their stalls. Then slowly, Emma lifted her hand. Her fingers grazed Clara's cheek, tracing the constellation of freckles scattered across her skin. It was a touch as soft as a prayer. Clara closed her eyes, leaning into the warmth of Emma's hand. In that moment, the world outside the barn, the rules, the risks, the judgment all faded away. There was only this, only them. Their lips met softly at first, a hesitant, sweet kiss, as if afraid to shatter the fragile stillness around them. But the initial tenderness quickly gave way to something more. Clara deepened the kiss, her hands finding their way to Emma's waist, pulling her closer until there was no space left between them. The lantern light flickered wildly, casting dancing shadows that swirled around them, over the hay bales and up to the high rafters, as if the barn itself was holding its breath. Emma melted into the embrace, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm that perfectly matched Clara's. It was forbidden, it was risky, and yet, in that moment, it felt like the purest form of freedom she had ever known. When they finally broke apart, both were breathless, their eyes shining in the dim light. Clara rested her forehead against Emma's shoulder, a quiet gesture of surrender. "I don't want to hide anymore," she whispered into the fabric of Emma's shirt. Emma smiled, a sad but hopeful smile, and gently brushed a stray strand of hair behind Clara's ear. "Maybe we don't have to hide forever," she murmured. "But for now, this place will keep our secret." And so, the barn became their world. Night after night, when the farmhouse was dark and the countryside slept, they would meet in their hidden sanctuary. They shared hushed laughter that wouldn't carry past the wooden walls, whispered dreams for a future they weren't sure they could have, and kisses that tasted of hay, starlight, and unspoken promises. Amidst the scent of warm milk and the soft, comforting presence of the animals, they built something beautiful and pure, something that belonged only to them. One night, a fierce storm rolled in. Rain hammered against the tin roof, and thunder shook the old barn to its foundations. Clara burst through the doors, soaked to the bone and shivering. Without a word, Emma rushed to her, wrapping her in her arms, sharing her own warmth. Their lips met again, but this time it was different. It was fiery, desperate, a kiss that mirrored the wild storm raging outside. As thunder cracked and lightning illuminated the sky, they held onto each other, finding shelter not just from the rain, but from the world itself. When dawn finally broke, the storm had passed. The two of them lay tangled in an old, worn blanket, watching as golden light spilled through the cracks in the barn walls, painting stripes of sun across the hay-strewn floor. The world was quiet again, washed clean by the rain. Emma turned to Clara, her eyes soft in the morning light. "If love can grow in a place like this," she whispered, her voice filled with a newfound conviction, "maybe it can survive anywhere." Clara smiled, a radiant, beautiful smile that seemed to light up the entire barn. She leaned in, pressing a final, gentle kiss against Emma's lips. "Then let's never stop fighting for it." And though the world outside might never understand their story, inside the quiet, humble walls of that old cow barn, their love had found its home. It was a secret, but it was real. And sometimes that's all that matters. Thank you so much for watching this story unfold. If it touched your heart, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more stories that celebrate love in all its forms. We'll see you next time.